Well, it made it. This is the one item that nobody, and I mean nobody's bringing on sick week, but we are. This is something that weighs a lot, doesn't put out a lot, it's quite useless, but we need it for the 57 Chevy. I hunted this down. This thing doesn't exist on the internet anymore. I mean, you can get one refurbed, you can refurb the one you have, but we don't have the time for that, and I didn't have any time to really put it in the car. The car seems to be okay for what we're going to be doing for the week, because we're not racing the car, we're just going to cruise the car, but I don't trust what we have in the car. So, with that said, let's try and open this thing. It's got it wrapped up really good. Alrighty, what do we got in here? Well, it didn't make it. Oh, it didn't make it. It didn't make it.
Oh, no.
Ah, that sucks. Well, sometimes you just gotta make do with a bad situation. It forced my hand. I can't return the part. I ain't got enough time. And I had one, an old one, a junk one, on the shelf. It just so happens I might be able to make one of two. The thing about these old 57 Chevys, or any old 50s GM car, they ran the power steering pump off the back here, and that's what makes this kind of unique. So it works great when it works, not so much when it comes in by mail. So anyway, I'm going to take this bad boy and try and change the plate without having to do too much damage. See what happens. I had one in parts. I usually stock a lot of these. This thing looks like it's seen better days. So, and I don't have a growler, so without that, I can't test this. So the only thing we can do is go on the good word that that one tested out good on the purchase. Well, there's not much to a generator right now, is there? These little things here, right on those little things, and they make all the kind of good stuff go happen in there. So I took apart my generator, and I got one. This was not in the best of shape. However, I like the stock parts. This stuff is like non-existent anymore. I got it from Dan Chuck, I don't know, well over 12 years ago. So it's got bearings in there, and it's got brushes and all kinds of little gadgets and gizmos in there. So we'll see what we can do to make this all come together. Well, the love tap didn't work. Sometimes these just have to go this way. So bear with me as I struggle through this. For some reason, sometimes a little rednecking goes a long way. This is the way I don't hurt the pulley. I can get this bad boy off. For some reason, she's dragging right across, and I don't know why. Why she wants to be such a pain. I think there's paint on it or something, or the key is not tight, or the key is binding. Okay. Here's my key. I'm going to get that bad boy out of there. I'm in for a real treat. Well, this was fun. I spared everybody the expense of me tapping and trying to tap it out that way and then wedge it out this way. And I finally got that little bugger out. That is the key that keeps this in a line And boy, did it fight. It did not want to come out of this unit for some reason. First time for everything, and today might have been the day just to put it over the edge. So that's finally out. Now once you get that out, then we got to go to the back, and we're going to pull these two bolts. Now we're up for the next fun. That won't come off. How did I ever get so lucky? There we go. So this little ring in here goes in there, and that, in turn, what's up to that? You run it down. Now my next trick is getting that bearing to slide off the shaft a little bit. I did clean it up, but we'll see. And what we're trying to do is just go nice and easy with it. We don't need to cause a ruckus here. Well, we're gonna have to clean this up a little bit more. There are burrs on this for some reason, and I don't know why, but there's burrs on this. Oh, look at that. Will wonders ever cease? You know, this old bushing here ain't gonna live in this one anymore. We're gonna have to swap them over. So I got the broken piece off. There's really no way to fix this properly. It's kind of bent. It took a heck of a hit. So I have my extra one, and it's the same. It's no big deal, but that one's intact. Now, to press this bushing out and put it into that one, and then we're going to try and change out that bearing. I got a new one in the kit. So maybe we can salvage this thing after all. My old one, if I had a growler, I bet you anything the armature would be bad. It's the way it goes, man. By the way, I'm not sponsored by this stuff, but man, this is good stuff. The things we try to do, redneck style here, but I have a press, but I'm not going to set it up. Too lazy. And I don't have enough time to put more into this, but I might be spending more time by not doing it the proper way. But, you know, that's out. We have our special removal tool. That's a special Miller 0661. Actually, no, it's a Craftsman inch 11/16, and put it to use. Just sits in the toolbox. We don't use them anything for that big except for doing what we're doing right here, right now. So, how's everybody doing today? Y'all doing good? Earl's doing great. That just kind of fell out. Wow. All right, let's go for number 2. We did that so well. Let's see what this one does. You can tell it's been a long time since I messed with generator stuff. Long time. I don't do generator stuff much these days. And this was not something I wanted to do. Since we took that old one out, I don't know if I'm even in camera. Took this one out, we're going to put that one in there. But before I do that, I think I'm going to make this pretty again. We're going to sandblast it. Okay, we got this blasted. Kind of looks good. We're going to chem clean this up, make sure there's no residual sand in the dang thing, blow her off, and start assembling her. Okay, we've got our plate, cleaned it up. This goes in. And what you do after you put that in there, you put your bearing in. Not quite an interference fit, people. I think it's like just 0. Now what's neat is I'm going to try and play a tricky game with this. I'm going to put the cover plate back on just like this one was, and I'm going to try and fit that in there and make sure I don't have to shim this to get the end play right. We'll see how that goes. What's neat about these sealed bearings is it eliminates these little things that you used to add oil in. So if you're trying to add oil in there, it's really a waste of time. It is a sealed bearing. We're going to torque this to spec. Ready? One more time. All right, still works. So we have this replaced, and we have this replaced. So I think that's much better. Now I'm going to very carefully, because what I'm doing is kind of a bad thing. You really don't want this thing laying on anything. So I'm going to very carefully put this back in. That is in carefully, and now we're going to turn it around. All right, these are our long bolts. Holds the two halves together. Okay, very carefully slide that all the way up. And then it's going to come up here, and I'm just going to guide it with my finger into that one. It feels really good. I didn't change anything, so she'll be pretty happy. Okay, and we're going to torque these to spec. Do it one more time. Not supposed to, but I'll do it again. Yep, that's good. Okay, here comes the fun part. This little bastard. I'm not going to let this do this to me again, ever. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to clean that groove up really good. Sometimes when you paint things, it just takes the clearances out. I had to clean all that back up there with this little doohickey. So that'll slide on really nice, and the key will go in here just comfortably like it should. Now if I can get my digits out of the way, you see that. That'll fit in there really nice now. Can't forget this. That's got to go on in there. That's good. And we're going to keep a little lube on that just because. I had to clean that up. It was a little boogered in there. And then we cleaned this up with a little sandpaper on a fingertippy and got in there. There we go. I think we're going to live a happy life. We hope. Give that a little bit of love there too. I like this stuff. I'm not advertising it, but I like it. Doesn't hurt anything. It's non-toxic. Doesn't hurt paint jobs. Doesn't cause me a bad day. Unlike that. Now just impact that on and it's done. Well, that's going to conclude this. I didn't want this to happen to me today. We have a lot of work going on in the shop, and having one of our parts come in damaged that we cannot replace, and we have the sick board to drive in the next week. I don't want to be without one. You can't get these things. They're pretty much unobtainable at this point, especially with all the hoopla going on in the world. But at least I had one extra in stock to make this one work again. Again, I won't test it until I put it in the car, but we're not going to worry about that. We're going to pretend it already works. I'm good. I'll just make sure I jumper over on the armature to the battery on this to polarize it, and I think we'll be okay. Everybody, thank you for your time. We'll see you very soon in the next video. Take care.
Woo boy.